Hi everybody, it's Niketa.
And Donovan Harris.
And today's question is, how and what is Call to Congress? So Call to Congress is a biannual event that's held in Washington, D.C. You apply to get in, and there's representatives from each of the states in the U.S. The whole first day is a full day of training. We talk about the different talking points that we want to talk about the next day. We talk about the different funding sources that we're asking the House and Senate side to be a part of. We gather our testimonies to go along with the different asks that the National American Diabetes Association has. I've been there 3 times now. The first time I went alone, and it was an eye-opening experience for me. It was the first time that I had seen anybody besides myself and like one other person who had type 1 diabetes, because on TV and commercials all you see is type 2. So I kind of felt alone for the whole first half of having this disease. So that was one of the things that I really took home with me, besides the amazing advocating on the Hill, which is what we do the next day, day 2. We go to the House side and the Senate side all throughout the day. So all the different states gather up together and hit up their senators and their congresswomen and congressmen to talk about these testimonies and why funding is important and all those kind of things. And then the second time I went,
I was able to go, and what I took home from it was that there was a lot of people that shared their testimony. A lot of there were a few kids and just family members in general, loved ones that shared their testimony. I think that really did something well with me, because I was able to share my testimony and how it helped my wife deal with and cope with diabetes. And it was really just really important, man. You know, just see people's faces and just see people's reactions and just know what it means to people when you have that loved one there to help them, support them. And just, we were trekking in the snow,
Yes.
in the snow.
The blizzard.
And it was cool, man. You know, like it just showed dedication and perseverance. No matter what the weather permitted, we basically just had fun in doing it, you know. And it was a learning experience for me because it was my first time going. That was a great experience, man. Just being able to be there and just see all of the people that will support, and the people just plowing and sharing their stories. It's like, wow, this is amazing.
So when we get together in the different states, we break down all of the different asks that the ADA has. A lot of it is dealing with the fiscal year of the following year. A lot of the funding is asking for a lot of the research prevention programs dealing with American Diabetes Association and dealing with health institutions in general. So it's very important that the senators and the Congress people are on board with these things when they're going in and talking about bills. For instance, there was one bill that dealt with Medicare being able to fund the continuous glucose monitor. And for those of you who don't know what the CGM is, it literally takes your blood sugar every 5 minutes and then puts it on a graph, and it tells you when it's tending to trend high, when it's tending to trend low. Yeah. You can put buzzers on it so it buzzes you if you're like starting to go high or starting to go low, so that the management portion of your disease is much more controlled. And so that actually passed.
And then also I could follow through, because she was able to connect my phone to where your loved one, T3, whoever it may be, could follow and see, like if I'm at work, I can say, honey, your sugar is going higher, sugar is going high or low, and she's asleep. So, you know, it's just, and then that's when sometimes it peaks or whatever, but yes, it's really cool. This CGM is a life saver, man.
So now we're just trying to have Medicaid follow suit, Medi-Cal follow suit, so that it can be in everyone's insurance, because it's definitely a lifesaver in the diabetes community.
When insurance is able to help people get those and be able to continuously get them, you will see people's sugars really monotone level out. you know, versus being high and low all over the place. So I think that's a big key.
And then the next day, we have a recap of everything that went on the Hill.
Yes.
And then we do a session on what to do when you get back home. So when your representatives are coming home on their recess, which is usually in August, kind of what are the steps to go through to have a meeting at home. It's very easy for you to do. You can just call up your reps in the specific districts that you're in, and set up a meeting. They like to hear from their constituents. If you want to meet a certain person that's not in your district, I would suggest bringing along someone who's in that specific district, because you'll probably have a better chance in getting a meeting.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's so key just that they be involved in what everybody's going through. So I think that's vital, you know, for our elected officials to know what's going on in the community.
So if you go to www.ada.org, you can just type in the search call to Congress, and there should be plenty of information that pops up. Because if you haven't been, I suggest you apply.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that deal with what you're already doing in your community, how you're involved with diabetes, if you yourself are diabetic, or if you're caring or know someone who is. And then if you get accepted, it's a wonderful opportunity. It's usually a really nice hotel that they set up. It's a 3-day event. So
food and stuff.
Training, yeah. There's parties after all the training, with little hors d'oeuvres and mingling with all these people and the energy surrounding this epidemic, really. But people who are all there with the one goal of fighting to stop this disease. It's really a life-changing experience.
So it's like, to me, like I said, it's like a big networking event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can look at it as that too, as well as, you know, trying to get research, funding, and stuff like that. But it's a good networking, because you meet people, like my wife said, that's dealing with the same disease everybody's dealing with, and you have so much to talk about, and you meet people from all over the world, you know, that you can connect with, man. So information is key, networking is key. So it's a great event, you know, it's great.
So hopefully that was helpful to give you a snapshot of what Call to Congress is.
Yes.
For those people who asked us what it is.
C to G. My name is C to G.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys.